Burling then says, well, when she comes back, you might drop a hint to her, emphasising the fact that secretly all along he did want Gerald to mention the knighthood to Lady Croft. Then we have, and you can promise her that we'll try to keep out of trouble during the next few months. And both of the men laugh. This is important because previous trouble is hinted at, and these men think that because of their position they won't get into any trouble, emphasising their sense of entitlement. There's an easy camaraderie between Gerald and Burling, and the similarity of both men is indicated by the stage directions. They both laugh. Eric's entrance is important, as he comes in and then questions, what's the joke? Started telling stories? Burling is dismissive, saying, no, want another glass of port. Here we can see that Eric and his father have a strained relationship. This tension is important because it will be built upon later on. Then Eric, sitting down, yes please, and takes the decanter and helps himself. The stage directions depict Eric's problem with alcoholism. He is incredibly dependent on port. Mother says we mustn't stay too long. Here we can see how controlling and patronising Mrs. Burling is. But I don't think it matters. I left him talking about clothes again. This is quite casual, and we can see here that there is some sort of gender divide. You'd think a girl had never had any clothes before she gets married. Women are potty about them. This is important because we kind of get the sense that Eric doesn't truly believe this, that he is actually, in fact, repeating something he has heard of his father. Yes, but you've got to remember, my boy, that clothes mean something quite different to a woman. And again, Burling's statement here emphasises the class and gender issues combined. Not just something to wear, and not only something to make him look prettier, but, well, a sort of sign or token of their self-respect. Eric then responds eagerly, yes, I remember, but we are told through the stage directions that he checks himself. The pause here and the fact that he cuts himself off is suspicious, and it's clear that he nearly mentions a previous relationship that he doesn't want to actually reveal. If we skip down to talking in the same manner, yes, you don't know what some of these boys get up to nowadays. More money to spend and time to spare than I had when I was Eric's age. They worked us hard in those days and kept us short of cash. Though even then we broke out and had a bit of fun sometimes. Here you can see that Burling is oblivious to Eric's lavish lifestyle. Then Burling says solemnly, but this is the point. I don't want to lecture you two young fellows again, but what so many of you don't seem to understand now, when things are so much easier, is that a man has to make his own way, has to look after himself, and his family too, of course. Here we can see the theme of social responsibility emerging. Burling feels absolutely no social responsibility, and we can see that his philosophy is a capitalistic one. And so long as he does that, he won't come to much harm. But the way some of these cranks talk, and right now you'd think everybody has to look after everybody else. Here we can see one of the central themes of the play emerging, responsibility. We also see the theme of socialism versus capitalism. He talks about the good hard school of experience, which is his way of suggesting that there's such a thing as the university of life. He says a man has to mind his own business and look after himself and his own, and here we can see the change in mood and tension, and the menace as the inspector sheds light on the character's actions. It is important and significant that he interrupts just at this point in Burling's speech. We hear the sharp ring of a front doorbell, and Burling stops to listen. The sound effects are important, and it draws attention to the significance of the timing of his entrance to further emphasise this change in mood and tension. Burling then says, when Eric says, somebody at the front door, Edna will answer it. This is a dismissive tone, and we can see the class divide. When Edna enters, this emphasises the contrast between lower versus middle classes.